Hey guys, the theme for today is omega-3. There's 3 omega-3s. There's alpha-linolenic acid, which is ALA. There's eicosapentaenoic acid, EPA, and there's docosahexaenoic acid, DHA. So ALA is primarily plant-derived. It's an essential fatty acid, so we have to consume it. We don't make it in our body. So decent sources are canola oil, soybean oil, flaxseed oil, definitely chia seeds, hemp hearts, flax meal. So the seeds, we don't really break them down very well, so make sure you grind those up. These are all examples. So 2 tablespoons a day should give you a decent amount of ALAs. Walnuts are a great source, so half a cup is your day's worth. Brussels sprouts, kale, and spinach, which I don't have here, are really good sources. Your avocado is a decent source. It's not a great source, but a whole avocado is like 500 milligrams. Now, the goal per day is somewhere between 800 to 1,000 milligrams. There's not really clear-cut recommendations at this point. DHA and EPA are really abundant in marine sources of foods. So your heavy hitter would be your salmon. 3 ounces gives you 1,000 milligrams total of DHA and EPA. Anchovies, herring, mackerel, which isn't here, which is kind of high in mercury, so I wouldn't necessarily suggest it. Sardines and oysters are all good sources. So that's something to kind of toss around, you know, in terms of heavy metals, and really we could think about pollutants as well in our fish. 6 to 8 ounces of these heavy hitters a week should give you your needs, but unfortunately, you know, we've got the pollutants and the heavy metals, so it's something to really think about. If you are vegan, you're not going to be touching these guys, but plant-derived, you know, ALA actually is a precursor to EPA and DHA, but it's not really great sources of DHA and EPA. So there's about a 8 to 20% conversion of EPA through the ALA and a 0.5 to 9% of DHA. So if you're vegan, you're not going to get a lot of the DHA and EPA, which I would recommend algae oil in that case so that you can. So why do you want it? What's the benefit? So ALA is cardioprotective. It does bring down inflammation and your LDL, so it can reduce plaque in your arteries, and it helps with your arterial walls so they're nice and fluid and they dilate and constrict nicely. EPA is really beneficial for overall inflammation, and DHA is neuroprotective and also really great for eye health. Now I'm briefly going to dip into athletes because I actually do specialize in sports nutrition. So if you're an athlete and you're involved in team sports or a contact sport, you really ought to make sure you're getting enough omega-3 and in particular DHA. Again, there's no set guidelines, but in terms of DHA for athletes, somewhere between 1 to 3 grams a day is ideal. And that's because concussions are a high risk. If you have a concussion, anywhere between 2 to 3 grams a day is best to help you heal from that. Also, in addition, EPA is really beneficial for bringing down inflammation. So your athletes, like track athletes, like my daughter, I want to make sure she gets enough EPA because it helps with oxidative stress, or you could say post-exercise inflammation. So this right here by Nordic Naturals, Ultimate Omega Sport 210s, has 1,125 milligrams of EPA. So I know that she's getting the benefit of bringing down that inflammation with her intense training. EPA has also been touted for being beneficial with increasing muscle mass. And also there's some great literature out now that potentially, or research, stating that maybe it's helpful with aerobic capacity, so VO2 max. So for athletes, it's really beneficial. And just a nice little keynote about collegiate athletes, on the NCAA list of substances, it is permissible. So it is definitely recommended to get in enough as an athlete. One thing I neglected to mention are fortified foods. So milk, some orange juices, and eggs actually have DHA fortified in them. So those are also opportunities to get it in your diet. This is an example of another way of getting some omega-3s in your diet. So that's my dietitian's cheesecake that I told you guys about, where you throw flax meal on top of your yogurt. So there's some omega-3. Right here we have avocado toast with avocado, obviously has some ALA, And then hemp hearts, which are really high in omega-3. So these are some good examples. A heavy hitter meal would be if you had some grilled or baked salmon, maybe the kale salad that I talked about in my last video, or the Brussels sprouts, or both is something I would recommend. You should have at least 2 servings of vegetables at your meal, and toss some walnuts on top. All right, so there you go. Heavy puncher of omega-3. Have a good day.